Can we give it up for Tom? Thank you, mate. That definitely caught people's attention. In 1981, the godfather of hip-hop, poet Gil Scott-Heron, asked a really insightful question. He asked, is that jazz? Jazz so often slips into the background at dinner parties. It plays a backseat in our nights out whenever we try to feel a little bit more classy. It's seen as easy listening, but that isn't jazz, because jazz is disruptive. My wife hates walking into the room whenever I've got Parker or Monk or Ellington or Glasper blaring out. The music stops her in her tracks. She can no longer concentrate on what she is doing, because the jazz distracts and the jazz disrupts. Because jazz is something that is to be engaged with, experienced, and participated in. That is jazz, and jazz is disruptive. And yes, we can go out and buy Out to Lunch or A New Perspective or even Blue Train, but the purest, the truest form of jazz is found in the dark, dingy clubs. Whenever the jazz musician turns round to his bandmates and makes eye contact with them in such a way as to say, I've got this. And he does the courageous thing of stepping out and creating something new, the moment of improvisation. And I remember standing out in Greenwich Village under the iconic red neon sign. And I remember the excitement and the anticipation, because I knew that I was going to experience something remarkable that night. And I climbed down the steps into that dark, iconic room. Mayor Bloomberg had banned smoking 10 years earlier, but the walls were so saturated still with tobacco smoke. You could smell the liquor and sense the history in the air. They had all played there. And even before the music kicked off, the manager of the Village Vanguard got up and so blatantly said, hey, no phones and no cameras. For this was a night that wasn't to be shared or reported on. This wasn't a night to be tweeted about or Instagrammed. This was a night to be experienced. This was a night to be a participant in. And you should have been there. 3 old boys from New Orleans just absolutely went for it, cheering each other on, celebrating with each other, acting like young Flava Flavs. They were celebrating with what was happening, with what they were producing, with what they were creating. They created something remarkable that night. We got to experience something remarkable that night. For that is jazz. I am in no way an expert, merely a very, very interested observer. But I've noticed something, that improvisation is not making it up as you go along. I've discovered this by listening to Miles Davis at the Fillmore. I've discovered this by listening to Giant Steps over and over again. I've experienced this myself. Improvisation is not making it up as you go along. There's something so much deeper to it than that. Because improvisation is reserved for the few who do the work, who put in the long hours, the ones who practice and practice and practice and fail and practice. Improvisation is for masters, masters of their craft, masters who, because of their hard work, because of their devotion so often done in secret and in quiet, because of the scars of hard and difficult lessons learned, now have courage. Courage to be able to carve out something, and that special something is space. And into that space, that scary place, that void, that formless place, the place where nothing is being created yet. They find a place of potential and a place of possibility. And the ones who improvise into that space, they create something that is to be experienced, something that is to be participated in, something that cannot be passively observed, something that cannot be reduced to 140 characters. They create the I was there moments. They create moments of significant human experience. They create those powerful moments of improv. And the thing is that jazz musicians aren't the only ones that can be improvisers. Actually, we can all be improvisers, because we can all carve out the space. We can all put in the hard hours. We can all grow in courage. We can all be improvisers. And we need more improv. More than ever, we are so distracted. We are so incredibly busy. Our culture forces us into passivity all of the time as our heads drop down to our screens as we live merely as individuals, while all the time we are craving after significance. We need more improvisers in the world. And whenever we do the courageous thing, whenever we step out and whenever we create something new, we feel so much more vulnerable, yet we feel so much more human. Because in those moments, we are bearing the image of the first improviser, the greatest improviser of them all, who with such skill and such craftsmanship into all that was formless and void formed life and beauty and created creation. Creation that was never to be belittled or reduced down to mere passivity, but was always intended to be experienced and fully participated in. So I leave some of you with a challenge, because some of you are busy doing busybody work, doing the wrong work, and you need to experience disruption so that you will go and do the right work, the work that you're craving for, work of incredible significance. Yet for all of us, as people who are creative, we have the responsibility to lead people from passivity to participation, from belittled activity to moments of incredible and significant human experience. And whether we are writing a song or starting a business or creating a meal around a table or teaching our children, we each have the opportunity and the possibility and the privilege and the joy of taking people from passivity to participation. What a privilege that is. So for each of us, let's do the work. Let's grow in courage. Let's carve out space. And let's create moments of human experience. Let's disrupt and improvise. For that is jazz. Thank you.